Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys had a great trading week. Hope everything's going great. Trading wise, life wise, hope everything's going great for you guys. Just straight into the video. Last week was pretty interesting. Wasn't the best of the weeks for me. Still kind of going through a bit of not just it's just still going through a bit of I don't know. I haven't been able to perfectly not just trade the market but read it, and so a lot of it I believe is me not sticking to the basics and me kind of going against the trend. And so that's something I fixed throughout the week, and I started to find a bit more success heading into the end of the week. But besides that, uh, not really, not really anything crazy this week. I think I still ended red on the week, unfortunately. But we continue, and we learn. And from this week, I learned that mainly sticking to the basics and sticking to the way I was trading a couple of weeks ago is going to be fundamental because I think I've been, trying to predict too much and try to go against trend, and that's not my way, and I don't know why I got into the habit of that, or I don't know really why, but I fixed it kind of, or I noticed it kind of heading Thursday, Friday, and so found a little bit more success. But basically, last week, basically, or this week, we had the weekly bearish level at the 1521s, and you could already see kind of the levels I already have for the week, and I'll explain the reason why. So 1521, we thought that the market opened up below, and to just give it into a little bit more large context perspective, the 1521s are down here, right? This was down here. So 50 to this was Monday. We opened down, and you could see the aggressive move we saw to the downside. And once we saw that move to the downside, you could just see that there was just a straight flush down, straight flush down. In this day, I was actually looking to take the market short, but unfortunately, nothing really showed a optimal entry to take the market short for me, in my opinion. I was really genuinely looking for ways to take the market short, and I just couldn't. I was looking for a break above these 14s, these 15s to take the market short. Unfortunately, same with this. I was looking to pull back into the 51s, and we actually even did get that pull back into the 51s, which worked out pretty nicely, but again. You could just see the flush that we had to the downside. And overall, it was a great analysis, but, nothing really occurred. And for the remainder of the week after that, we actually saw the market actually regain all its losses that we had from there and then reclaim back above those 51s. So once you see a reclaim back above those bearish levels, it's kind of a warning signal, like, okay, careful with that. And so once we saw that reclaim, you could see that we actually held it as support, and then, the rest of the day was just a rally. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually capitalize on this move, even though those 51s were just bread and butter. It was just so beautiful and everything. But again, rest of the week actually just resulted in a traversal back up. We even left this unfilled daily gap that we have. But overall, overall, it was an iffy week, but a lot of learning, and in trading you learn from your losses. So overall, we're in a pivotal support level, pivotal or resistance level, and just to show you guys in a bigger picture, you could see we've had this level marked out for a while, the 50s to the 20s, and this is an area we saw one rejection here once, and now what do we see here, right? The biggest thing is, do we see a move down and continue lower, or do we see a move up that holds and continues up higher, right? That's going to be the biggest thing to watch. This is going to be the biggest thing to watch, and you can even potentially see a potential, if we do get below this, you could even see a potential move down that retests and then comes back lower, right? Again, it's just going to be a matter of time and to see what happens throughout the week, but it's going to be an important area. However, with that being said, just because it's an important level where I expect some resistance, it's important to know that the last couple of weeks was still very strong to the upside. And that's not something I want to go against, right? And that's something I feel like I've been going against. Just because we're at a pivotal level doesn't mean that, okay, immediately get the market short. We are still in bullish resume and to the upside just based off the structure we saw from the week. So it's going to take, shorts are still going to be scalped. Shorts are going to be short-lived until they show some good activity or they show some good strength. So straight into it, trade of the week. Really don't have anything crazy for you guys because again, it was a pretty lackluster week. But the biggest trade I would say I gave you guys would be this Friday. This Friday felt like I traded pretty well, but Heading into Friday, just to pull up the, my journal. you know, Heading into Friday, I put buyers still in control based off the, one time framing up, and just not only one time framing up, but leaving that unfilled bullish level. So ideally, I wasn't looking to take the market short any way possible, even despite us being in these 20s, right? It would have worked, it would have been perfect, but again, not something for me. And so that did end up happening is obviously, the market did sell off from here, but despite that, I was still looking to take the market long as long as we were above these 89s. I was looking to take the market long. And so, one thing to show you guys is, just to show you guys, some news at 10, the VIX also at crucial support. Something I'm monitoring is if we build volume from the 34s to the 24s. Sorry, that's the previous day. So still, again, same thing. Good short up here, I was saying, but again, it's counter trend for me, and something I did notice recently is I've been playing a lot of counter trend and it hasn't been successful. So again, don't want to play that. However, if for me to be interested in the market short, again, like I said, we have to be below these 89s that we talked about down here. And so. One thing I was looking for is as the market was pulling up is if we could get above these 80, these low of days, and then use it as support. And so that's exactly what happened. And I actually did take the market along here once we, not only, if you could kind of see down here, we actually consolidated a bit, built some volume, and even pulled back into that area. So that's exactly what I wanted to see, right? I was talking about if we're able to get above these 5502s, 5504s, and then show a retest. And that's exactly what happened, right? We got those 5502s, 5504s. I would just put the 2s just because the 4s were already too high. 5502s. And then you can even see it to be more specific. You could even see right here, kind of that consolidation we saw. We got that pullback. This is where I entered the market long. I was generally looking for a target of high of day, but I was unable to close it, and actually, I didn't close it at then, and so I actually not stopped out, but got a small green day from there. After we saw a big pull back down, this is where I closed it off right here, around here. So it was for a small gain, but it was still a great trade regardless. Just unfortunate because still wanted to go for that higher day, and I wanted to even see if we could get that push higher. But again, I underestimated those 5520s and how strong they are. And I even talked about it here. I said looking to scale out of these 20s. The trade was already break even. But yeah, again, that's what occurred. It was still a great trade. Just unfortunate. Just really unfortunate. And so. Besides that, that's probably the trade of the week. It was a pretty lackluster week. Again, I don't really have anything crazy for you guys, but straight to get into the weekly analysis. The weekly distribution left that unfilled daily gap at those 39.25s. That's going to be really important to look at. And then, of course, we kind of let this kind of multi-distribution type of day. We have one distribution here, another one here, and here, right? And so ideally, we still have this level of these 55.50s to 20s, but it's not a zone just because I don't want to make it visually so annoying to see, and I'll just keep it there, right? And so mainly what I'm going to be looking at is kind of this main distribution. As you can tell throughout the week, right? And if I were just to show this one profile, this is the main distribution that we had, right? As long as we maintain above this distribution, I expect continuation from buyers. I expect bullish resume. I continue to expect longs to play out, targeting those 55.50s, which is going to be the weekly bullish, right? And so that's just going to be it. And kind of, if you see it right now, it was kind of even like the highs. This is the rejection. It even was support, and now even support right here, right? So as long as we maintain above that, it's still going to be very important to watch. And targeting those 55.50s. Now the biggest thing is what happens when we get below, right? If we get below, again, buyers are still in control. However, I see temporary strength from sellers to move into the middle of the distribution, right? What I mean with the middle distribution is you can kind of see in this large distribution, it was kind of like, not even just say consolidated, but kind of like both buyers and sellers were present. So as long as we get below, I'll be interested in short-term shorts, targeting the mean of the main distribution. So I would be looking at those 84s to the VPOC, which is the volume point of control, which is around those 75s, right? After that, that's just going to be a main target. Shorts are still going to be scalped because longs, I still believe in control, right? And so now, genuinely, if we continue to move below that VPOC, then I expect a real move down here at these 54.50s, which is kind of that lower end of the distribution. If we do get below that, then I expect sellers to pick it up quite a bit, targeting the unfilled daily gap. Now, again, with this unfilled daily gap, if we still maintain with this unfilled daily gap, if we still leave it unfilled, then I expect buyers to still be in control. Now, if we get below this unfilled daily gap, then that's when sellers really pick it up, targeting those 51s again, right? And so buyers are still in control, right? If we sell off from here, they're still going to be in control. If we get below these 54.50s is when I'm like, okay, now they're showing a bit of presence. Now they're showing a bit of control. Now I'm a little bit interested in taking shorts a little bit longer and holding them a little bit longer. That doesn't mean if we get below this 55.20, that doesn't mean I'm not going to take it short. I'm still interested in taking it short. However, they're going to be scalps. They're going to be very short trades that I take just because it's counter trend. It's against the trend. Buyers are in control, and it's just not going to last long. If I take the market long, I'm more comfortable in holding those positions longer and for higher targets rather than shorts. And again, once we get below these 54.50s is when then I'm like, okay, I'm more interested in holding these shorts a lot longer, possibly targeting deeper targets, right? And so again, that's pretty much it. Another big thing to note is that on the daily profile, we are one time framing up. So what that means is there's higher lows being formed. One here, and I like to do it every three. So once you see three consecutive, that's when I consider a one time framing up. So now that's the third one. We continue to one time frame up. So again, that kind of aligns with those 84s. If we do break that one time framing down, we could potentially see that move down to the 50s, and then below the 50s, we could see down into the 85s, things like that. But again, simple analysis, right? Right now, even you could even see that these 55.20s are working pretty nicely. It's going to be really important to watch. It's kind of that main distribution. As long as we maintain if we maintain above those, I expect buyers to be in control. So be on the lookout for that, right? Other than that, hope you guys have a great trading week. Hope you guys stick to your plan. Again, don't go against counter trend like I did this week. Hope you guys enjoy this weekly analysis. I really like the way the market's forming right now. It's looking pretty confident. And again, I want to stick back to the root of things. I don't know why recently it's been bad, but I think I dialed it down to realizing that I've been going against a lot counter trend, right? I've been trying to predict just because the market is pulling back into, pivotal areas where I expect, right? The biggest thing is expecting. I expect the market or sellers to be present. No, it's not about expecting. It's not about predicting. It's about reacting. So if I see sellers there, then I gotta be a bit more patient, right? But again, hope you guys have a great trading week. Anything you guys have, any feedback you guys have, more than welcome to write it down, and I'm, more than happy to implement it in any future videos or any something that you're interested in, right? So again, hope you guys enjoy this, and yeah, peace.